What would you do if the person you love the most gave you an ultimatum just days before your wedding? I was ready to spend my life with her. I had planned everything, the vows, the house, the future. But then she looked me in the eye and said something that tore me apart. She said, "I'm not signing a prenup. You either trust me or it's over." What happened next changed everything. Stay with me till the end to see how a simple piece of paper nearly destroyed our love asterisk. Her name was Leanne, not loud, not flashy, but the kind of girl whose silence said everything. We met at a coffee shop on a rainy evening. I spilled my drink on her book. She didn't yell or curse. She smiled and said, "Well, now we have a story." That moment stuck with me was building. My small business back then, working hard long hours, trying to fix my life after a bad breakup and some family drama, Leon came into my life like a calm breeze. She listened when no one else did. She made simple days feel special. We spent evenings walking in the park, cooking in the kitchen, watching the stars from the rooftop of my apartment. She saw the real me, the one I didn't show to the world, and slowly I realized I wanted her in my life forever after 2 years of love, laughter, and learning each other's scars. I proposed to her under the same coffee shop roof where we met. She cried, I cried. It felt right. We told our families, started planning the wedding, booked the venue, ordered the invitations. Everything felt perfect until one conversation flipped our entire world asterisk. It was 2 weeks before the wedding. We were sitting in the living room, going through final arrangements. I brought it up casually. "Leon, my lawyer sent over the prenup draft. Just a formality. Let's go through it tomorrow." I expected her to say, "Sure, maybe ask a few questions," but she froze. Her face turned cold. She stood up slowly, looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "You don't trust me?" I tried explaining, "It's not that I don't trust you. It's just protection. We both have things we worked hard for. It's smart." But she shook her head. "No, if you love me, you don't need a prenup. You either trust me or it's over." That line hit me like a slap. I was stunned. We had never spoken to each other like this before. I tried calming her down, told her it was just legal stuff, but she wasn't listening. She left that night, didn't answer my calls. I sat there alone, questioning everything. Was I wrong to ask for a prenup? Did I ruin everything? Asterisk days passed. Leanne didn't come back. She didn't call, not even a text. My chest felt heavy every time I looked at my phone. Each vibration made my heart race, only to find a message from someone else. I couldn't sleep, kept thinking about her words, "Trust me or it's over." How did things get so cold so fast? I spoke to my best friend, Riven. He had been through a rough divorce. He said, "Prenups don't mean lack of love. They're safety nets." If she doesn't understand that, something deeper is going on. I hated that I agreed with him. My mind kept going back to all the late nights we spent dreaming together, talking about kids, travel, growing old. Had that all vanished? I kept staring at the ring I bought her. I still loved her, but I couldn't shake the fear. What if she wasn't the person I thought she was? Then one evening, I saw her name flash on my screen. My hand trembled as I picked up. She said nothing for a moment, then softly said, "Can we talk?" Asterisk. We met at the park bench where we shared our first kiss. It was dark, windy. Like the weather knew something heavy was about to happen. She looked tired, eyes swollen, hands cold. I waited. She finally spoke. "I'm sorry I left like that." I panicked. It wasn't just about the prenup. It was everything. I asked her what she meant. Leanne looked down and whispered, "My mom always told me that love doesn't need protection. That if someone asks you to sign something before loving you forever, it means they're already planning the end." That hit hard. He could see the fear in her eyes. It wasn't about money. It was about rejection. I reached out, took her hand. "Leanne, this isn't about doubting you. It's about protecting both of us. I've seen things go wrong, even with love. I need peace of mind too. Doesn't that matter? She nodded slowly, but said something that stopped my heart. You should have told me earlier, not 2 weeks before the wedding. She was right. I should have been honest from the start. I apologized. Deeply genuinely, we sat in silence, two people who loved each other but stood at a crossroads. And then she said, I still love you, but I need time to think. I don't want to make a decision based on pressure. Asterisk 1 week left until the wedding. The invitations were printed, guests were ready, but we weren't. He gave her space. Didn't call, didn't text, just waited. I went through old photos, watched our videos, listened to her voice notes, and cried more times than I'll admit. Each memory made my heart ache, but one thing was clear. I still wanted to marry her, prenup or not. Then 3 days before the wedding, she showed up at my door, no makeup, no script, just raw, honestly, and she came inside, sat down and said one sentence, I'll sign it. I was shocked before I could speak. She added, not because I don't trust myself, but because I trust you. And I know you're doing this from a place of care, not fear. Tears filled my eyes. I walked over and hugged her so tightly. I didn't want to let go. She looked up at me and smiled. Next time, let's talk before. Dropping a bomb so close to the altar, we laughed, cried, and held each other like it was day one. Asterisk. The morning of our wedding arrived. The sky was clear, the breeze gentle, and for the first time in weeks, my heart felt light. I stood in front of the mirror, tying my tie with shaky hands, not because I was nervous about the wedding, but because I couldn't believe we made it. Through the storm, through the silence, through the fear. Leanne arrived at the venue with grace in her steps and peace in her smile. Her dress was simple, but to me, she looked like the beginning of every dream I'd ever had. As she walked down the aisle, our eyes locked. There was no tension, no doubts, just love, tested and still standing. We said our vows with trembling voices, not because we were unsure, but because we had seen what nearly tore us apart and chose to stay later that evening. After the laughter, the dancing, the cake, we sat together under the stars, just like we used to. She held my hand and whispered, we're stronger now, not because we avoided hard conversations, but because we faced them. I smiled and nodded. Love without honesty isn't love. And trust, it's built, not demanded. We both agreed on one thing. It wasn't the prenup that nearly broke us. It was the fear of being misunderstood. Leanne and I made a promise that night to always speak up sooner, to listen even when it's uncomfortable, to choose each other again and again, even when things get messy. And as we lay there on a blanket under the stars, I realized something. The piece of paper didn't matter anymore. What mattered was that we walked through the fire and came out holding hands. That's real love, not perfect, but persistent. And if you've ever found yourself at a crossroads, like we did, let this be a reminder. It's not about winning the argument. It's about understanding the person sometimes. That's the difference between love that fades and love that stays. Asterisk. If this story touched your heart, stay with us for more. Real stories that speak to the soul.